Happy Wednesday, crew heads. This is Esperanza Moore, and you're watching MCRC Review. Today, we are talking about The Dirt. And for those of you who don't know what The Dirt is, it was a biopic released back in March about Motley Crue. There was a lot of reactions and a lot of emotions because Motley Crue was a legendary rock band and created a lot of memories for a lot of people. For those of you who are new to the world of Motley Crue, this movie opened their eyes to the world of their genius and notorious behavior. I think it's great, honestly. Introducing Motley Crue to a new generation is a gift. Millennial music isn't very good, and there are no subcultures and ways to express artistic individuality. Millennials encourage uniqueness constantly, but end up becoming a monotonous group of wannabes. Dirt was able to give millennials a look into a time where real music and real artistic individuality existed. I'll give the movie that much credit. But the movie fell short in many areas, including accuracy. It is a common concern when movies that are based off the books and real-life events are released. Okay, today we are covering 3 big points, and they are false information, pivotal factors, and the legacy of Motley Crue. And if you don't want to hear about it, put it in your diary, put it on your pillow, because I don't give a shit. When I say false information, I'm saying young viewers were not exposed to the 80s or Motley Crue during the 80s, so this is all they really have. Young people are basically forced to believe the information given. When you're watching a movie that takes place in a different era, you can't pick out what's wrong or what's right. Very few people are going to do thorough research to separate the lies and the truth. I know it's an obvious one, but the hair wasn't big enough. This movie was supposed to represent the hair metal scene. It's more like they're 70s glam rockers, if you ask me. It's too flat, and the members of Motley Crue were known to tease their hair so big and wear lots of makeup. Not a smart move. Nikki Sixx even said that just because we wear makeup doesn't mean we can't kick your ass. Okay? During Motley Crue's reign in the 1980s, Tommy Lee and Nikki Sixx were known as the Terror Twins because they caused lots of mischief and they looked very similar to each other. They made no note of this in The Dirt and made it look as if Tommy Lee was the happy-go-lucky mediator and Nikki Sixx was the lonesome drug addict. Nikki wasn't a drug addict, but not a isolated one. Why do you think when they found him ODing, he had a bunch of friends around him? The relationship was close. And the movie did not portray that. Also, The costumes were not very accurate. The general idea, but the details were not very accurate. And accuracy is very important, especially in a decade like the 80s. This is the first time that male musicians treated fashion the same as females. In the early days of Motley Crue, Vince Neil is often seen in his iconic handcuff belt and fingerless gloves. It is also featured on the cover of Too Fast for Love. Mick Mars and Nikki Sixx were too nice. Mick and Nikki were too nice. Mick may seem like the elder quiet one, but he was not necessarily nice. In one interview particular, he said that groupies are a big part of rock and roll culture. Yeah.
I noticed you live down here by the beach.
Yeah.
What's your favorite fish?
The elusive fish in the pantyhose that no one can seem to find.
Doesn't sound very innocent to me. He had just as much fun as the rest of the guys. Everything about Vince, Nikki, Mick, and Tom is very important and makes the band who they are. No. Pivotal factors. Everything about Vince, Nikki, Mick, and Tom are important to who they are and to the band. Let's start with Vince's heritage. That's right, folks. Our frontman of Motley Crue is of Mexicano and Native American descent. Now, Vince Neil of the movie, played by Daniel Webber, is of Caucasian descent and is from Australia. Get the tough stains out. Hardly an accurate choice. I'm not one to dwell on race issues, but hiring two British dudes and an Australian guy for an all-American band? Really? In the movie, they only showed Vince Neil's marriage to Charisse Neil and Tommy to Heather Locklear. Nikki Sixx was in love with his heroine, and Mick Mars was a stoic celibate elder. Nikki Sixx was engaged to Vanity and married Playboy playmate Brandy Brand, amongst others. Nikki had most of his children with Brandy, and Mick had children going into Motley Crue. Their relationships were widely covered and noted, so neglecting them was hugely inaccurate. For the Dirt, they filmed in Louisiana, and Motley Crue are from the Sunset Strip in LA. For the Dirt, they filmed in the Bayou. I thought LA was for Los Angeles, not Louisiana. The Sunset Strip and LA are very important to the metal genre. What the hell were they thinking? The clubs, the scenery, the backdrop paved the way for Motley Crue's journey to stardom. After all, California is a place of dreams and traditionally manifests destiny. Not filming in the city that made them is a major flaw in production. I thought this was Lost Boys, not Interview with a Vampire. Not filming in the city that made them is one of the biggest flaws in entire production. I thought we were Lost Boys, not Vampire. On a more technical note, Louisiana has a more swampy, mushy topography, while California is more of a Mediterranean oasis. Whew. The legacy of Motley Crue. As you all know, Motley Crue did give the green light for the production, but that does not mean it is accurate. Now, being a judgy old person, no offense, is not a good look in the media. I'm talking to you, Sonny. Additionally, old people care less about the small stuff and are honored to be celebrated and remembered. So, of course, they are going to greenlight a movie that is based off their book. Also, with age and shifting of times, people tend to change. Nikki and Tommy are not the same people as they were in the 80s. Now Tommy's cooking for his wife and Nikki's getting too political. 80s Tommy would never cook for his woman, and 80s Nikki was about a good time. So Tommy and Nikki rather see past reincarnations mirror their views and changes rather than the actual truth. The Dirt did great things for millennials and fans that have followed the crew throughout the years. But we cannot ignore inaccuracy for the fact that details and truth are very important to the very foundation of Motley Crue. Make sure to like and subscribe, and if you have anything to say, I love to hear it. Sound off below. This is your bud, Esperanza, and I'm with the Motley Crue Review Crew. Later.